Wonder Widget here.
Ah, he's trying to steal my job. Hey, Wonderhussy here. Man, I basically slept under a tarp last night and just about froze my you-know-what off. And all the while I was asking myself, why am I doing this? You know, I do have a house with hot running water and a very comfortable bed and a thermostat back in Las Vegas. But for some ungodly reason, here I am, trudging along in the middle of the wilderness with a 26-pound pack on my back. Oh, and as if all that weren't bad enough, I should also mention that it's the middle of January. Okay, well, it's January in California, so, well, doesn't look too bad right now. But unfortunately, this is only, well, day 2 of a 6-day backpacking trip I'm on with my friend. And the forecast, unfortunately, well, it's not looking too good. I mean, behind me, yeah, the skies are clear, blue, and sunny. But up ahead, the way we're hiking, well, there's some clouds in the sky. And I think there's like a 20% chance of showers late this afternoon. And then, well, more on the way over the next couple days. So you might be asking yourself, just like I'm asking myself, why on earth I would be backpacking in the middle of January when there's a crummy weather forecast. A hot spring. There's a hot spring way out in this wilderness area that can only be accessed pretty much by an overnight backpacking trip. There's actually 2 hot springs we're going to. The first one I think is about a 10-mile hike one way, and then the other one's like another 3 miles. So too many miles for just a day trip for the normal person. And unfortunately, well, that means we got a backpack. And well, if we would only have done this trip last week, the forecast was awesome. It was sunny and warm, but well, unfortunately, I was down in Arizona last week and I'm going down to Baja, California next week. So this week was the only time I could do this trip. So I guess I'm looking at this as an opportunity to teach myself to embrace the suck, as they say. Isn't that what like Navy SEALs say? You gotta learn to embrace the suck. Well, let me tell you something. I was trying to embrace the suck last night. And well, it wasn't that much fun. So basically where I am is in the mountains of the Los Padres National Forest, sort of outside Ojai, the town of Ojai, if you've ever heard of that. Going to a couple of really well-known backcountry wilderness hot springs. I feel like it's okay to say the name of them because they're really well-known and it's a friggin', well, it's an undertaking to get here. The first one is called Willett, and then the next one is called Sespe. And I've been wanting to check these hot springs out for a long, long time, but I just sort of felt overwhelmed by the prospect of backpacking because, to be honest, I'm really not much of a backpacker. I don't really enjoy doing this unless there's a hot spring at the end of the trail. So you might remember a couple summers ago, I backpacked to some hot springs in the Eastern Sierra, which were just amazing. And my friend, who you might be able to see hiking way ahead up there, well, he was on that trip with me as well. And when he messaged me to invite me on this, I thought, why not? I want to go to this hot spring. And he's the kind of person that I feel comfortable going with because he's been here bunches of times over the years. He's a very seasoned backpacker and outdoorsman, and he's got all the safety stuff, which means I didn't have to carry my satellite phone, which weighs like a pound. But anyway, like I said, this is day 2 of the trip. Yesterday, I had to get up at 6 a.m. and drive all the way from Las Vegas to meet him at the trailhead by 2 in the afternoon. Strapped on our hiking boots and we set out around, it was probably about 2:30 yesterday afternoon. And the original plan was, just hike a few miles, just see how far we can get. But we actually made a pretty good distance yesterday. We made about 6 miles, I think, maybe even 7. And well, just as it was getting dark, we decided, we were kind of debating, should we just push on? And I was kind of in favor of just pushing on. Let's get to the dang hot spring. But, you know, hiking at night in the dark, well, it just seemed prudent to make camp while there was at least a little bit of daylight left. Although there really wasn't much. I mean, we basically ended up making camp in the dark, but we figured it out and we made some dinner. Well, he made dinner. I had the foresight to stop off on my way to the trailhead and get a big, huge carne asada burrito in a little town called Fraser Park. And this friggin' carne asada burrito was, well, it was the size of my forearm. And I ate the whole dang thing, but I thought that would be a good strategy to keep me going so I don't have to mess with cooking dinner last night. Because let me tell you something, it was cold last night. Oh my God. I have camped in cold weather before, but unfortunately I don't think I'm really quite prepared. Like the gear I have isn't, well, I didn't realize it was gonna be this cold at night. My friend said he thought it was down around 40. I think it was even colder than that. I have a sleeping bag that I think says it's rated to 40 or 30, but well, I'll be honest, it's one of them cheap Chinese sleeping bags. And I don't think it's rated to even like 65. Man, I had 2 pairs of socks, long sleeve shirt, my down puffer coat with a hood on, and the hood of the sleeping bag over me. Oh, it was so cold. And guess what? It's supposed to get even colder. But you know, I'm making all these jokes about why am I doing this to myself? What an idiot. Well, I'll show you why I'm doing this. I mean, this is why I'm doing this. Look how absolutely beautiful this canyon is. That's this, I think that's Sespe Creek, where the hot springs are, farther downstream. But just the mountains and all the plants, it's just beautiful in a kind of a wintry way, you know? Everything's still dead and very wintry looking, which to me is just beautiful. I'm really enjoying it. Anyway, the plan today is to just push on, hike the rest of the way all the way to Sespe Hot Spring at the very end of the trail. I think it's about another 7 miles, 6 miles, and then camp there tonight. Uh-oh, water crossing. Man, we were lucky yesterday. We had a few water crossings, but I guess because of the time of year and they haven't gotten much rain this year, none of them required putting on my water shoes. A couple of them I did have to take out my hiking poles for balance, but well, it's hard to hold my hiking poles when I want to hold my camera so you guys can see. So I'm going to attempt this water crossing without my poles and give you a bird's eye view. Well, might as well go for it. Okay, we're lucky because the water level's pretty low right now, but if you look at these trees, you can see all that brush and stuff clogged up around them, and that's how high the water gets sometimes. I would not want to try crossing this creek when it was up that high, let me tell you that. Alright, hot springs. Can't really tell how much farther it is, but it's this way. Yay! Oh my God, we made it. I can't wait to check out these hot springs. But, I don't know, it hasn't started raining yet, but the weather does look ominous, so I better put up my tent first. Look at that nasty weather coming in. It's a good thing we made our little shelter there under the palms. Has some water boiling here. Now, unfortunately, I had to bring a full 1 pound fuel canister. It was all I had, and I didn't have time to go to Walmart or REI or anything on my way here. Since I'm lugging a full pound anyway, I'm not gonna scrimp when it comes to fuel. I'm just boiling the hot spring water, but I'm gonna boil it for a full 4 minutes just to make sure I get all the impurities out. And then I'm gonna have some hot cocoa. And my friend brought some scotch. We're gonna have cocoa and scotch and go for a little soak. Here's my camp, incidentally, if you're curious. My friend just gave me this backpacking tent. It's pretty cool. It's lightweight and it doesn't have any poles. You just use your hiking poles to hold it up. My bed, my piss poor, not even rated 30-degree sleeping bag. Now, you might be wondering what this is. This, well, if you've watched any of my other hot spring videos, you know I love to put on my big fluffy bathrobe after getting out of a hot spring. But I just didn't have room for it in my bag this time, and well, I ended up having to bring this little, it's kind of like a little mini kid's, well, I hesitate to even call it a robe. It's basically a fuzzy blanket with sleeves, and unfortunately, it'll have to do. Hey, my water's boiling. Delicious. Okay, now it's time to add some Kroger purified drinking water. Wait a minute, scotch! Thank you for having the foresight to bring that scotch, Widget. I appreciate you. Okay, well, we're gonna go for a soak in the hot spring in a sec, but before I get in there, because I know once I get in, I won't want to get out, I thought I would just give you a quick little peek around this beautiful, well, I guess you would call it a ravine. So down yonder, just past that prickly pear patch, is where we hiked up, and this little creek runs all the way down the ravine. And you can see there's some of the hot spring pools. I guess the farther up it goes, the hotter the pools get, because the source is up there, and Widget says that the source is something really cool to see. Anyway, there's this grove of palm trees, and Widget noticed this earlier. I thought it was interesting. Somebody actually took the time and trouble to lay in a few supplies up here. Can you imagine, as friggin' remote as this canyon is? Yikes, look at the weather. As remote and rugged as this canyon is, somebody actually lugged a friggin' pickaxe up here, and a big cast iron pot, and a coffee pot, and a shovel. I think it's for digging out and maintaining the hot spring pools. Okay, well, enough blathering. I think it's time for me to take off my clothes and get in the hot water. Okay, don't laugh at me. I'm wearing, well, I know I look like a propeller head, but it's one of those hats that's an umbrella. And it's got an elastic hatband on it, so you just put it on top of your hat, and you're protected from the rain, which we did just feel a few raindrops, so, you know, I don't mind a little bit of rain while I'm sitting in a hot spring, but I don't want my hair to get wet, you know? Like, sleeping was cold enough last night, let alone with wet hair. So I'm just gonna look like an idiot. And by the way, my little cheesy robe that I was trying to show you earlier. Okay, so like I said, the source is up that way somewhere, and well, the pools get cooler and cooler the farther you go down. My friend says it's probably about 105 up here, which is, I like it about 104, but I could probably deal with 105, no problem in this kind of weather. Okay, let's see. How's this? Oh, wow, that's hot, but it feels friggin' amazing. Woo!
How hot is it?
It's probably like you said, 105. I don't know. It feels great though. Oh, especially after hiking all those miles. Woo! Holy cannoli, this is heavenly. Oh God, it feels so good. Man, I got a belly full of scotch and cocoa, and I'm sitting in a hot tub. Life couldn't be any better right now. Man, I'm not gonna lie, I'd like to spend the night in here, you know? That way I know I wouldn't get cold. Okay, you can see there are a lot of leaves and funky stuff in the bottom, but it's really not bad, you know? It's gravel underneath. Feels very clean. I mean, remember, I just boiled and drank this water. Bleh. Okay, I think my friend Widget found a deeper pool down there. So I'm gonna go soak with him, which means I'm gonna turn my camera off because, well, you know, I wanna respect his privacy. Whew. Man, so the second pool that I just went to soak in wasn't as hot as the first one. I guess it was probably only like 103. But I sat in there for quite a while and had another nipperoo of scotch. And, well, before you know it, I was so warm. Believe it or not, I'm walking around naked in this cold weather. And it feels pretty good. Look at all these reeds and grasses. I don't know, if you're the kind of person who's grossed out by this kind of stuff, you might not like this hot spring, but man, I just think it's awesome. Look at that. That's full of vitamins too, I bet. If I had to. I guess I wouldn't starve up here. Wow, look, you can even see steam rising off the water. Just a little bit. You know, something else just occurred to me about this hot spring, Sespe Hot Spring. Well, I first read about it years and years ago, before I even knew what a hot spring really was, and certainly before I had any interest in hot springs, because I was reading the book Helter Skelter, you know, about Charles Manson and the Manson family. And during their trials, if you're familiar at all with the Manson family story, they all got put to trial for the murders, and they went through a lot of different defense attorneys. They were constantly firing their defense attorney and getting a new public defender, and boy, they went through a bunch of them. But one of the girls, Lulu, Leslie Van Houten, one of her defense attorneys, this guy named Ronald Hughes, well, she didn't fire him. I think before she was able to fire him, he mysteriously disappeared while he was hiking here at Sespe Hot Spring. And I think the assumption is that, well, obviously Charles Manson himself and Leslie Van Houten, they were in jail on trial, so they couldn't have done it. But the assumption is that Manson family associates were responsible for his murder. And I don't remember if his remains were ever found up here or not, but gosh, that does just add a sort of extra layer of spookiness to this place. You know, another thing I think is interesting about this hot spring, and well, actually the whole hike, is the biodiversity. All the different kinds of plants out here. Like, well, there's that big patch of prickly pear cactus, then there's these freaking palm trees, and then here along the hot spring there's cattails. That's pretty cool. And then we've seen deer, quail, well, there's supposed to be condors here. Actually, it's a condor sanctuary. The California condor, I think it has the biggest wingspan of any bird in North America. This is its sanctuary. Actually, other little known fact about this place, and I already laid one grim story on you. Well, here's another one. Johnny Cash, you know, hello, I'm Johnny Cash. Well, I guess he used to live near here, and he'd come up here, I don't know, hunting, camping. And I think back in the 50s, early 60s, when he was all hopped up on speed or whatever, he started a huge forest fire here. I'm not making this up, you can Google it. Johnny Cash accidentally set a huge forest fire out here. I'm not sure if he was setting off fireworks or what he was doing, but he was definitely doing something he shouldn't have, and he got busted for it. I'm pretty sure he went to trial, or oh god, I'm gonna have to look up the details when I get home. But yeah, if you don't believe me, look it up. Johnny Cash and that Manson family lawyer both have ties to this beautiful area. Man, I never want to get out of this hot spring. Like I said, I kind of wanted to spend the whole night in here. But like I also said, that's probably not smart. It does actually look like the sky cleared up a little bit behind me. So I think I might be safe to get out now and take off my propeller head. And well, gosh, I guess I should see about making some dinner. I'm not even really hungry, but the more I eat, the lighter my pack will be. Whew. All right, got clean, dry clothes on. Now it's time to figure out what I want to have for din-din. Let's see, we have lasagna. Ooh, chicken and dumplings. Breakfast hash. Chili mac with beef. Pad thai. Another breakfast hash, perennial favorite. And then I also brought a bunch of cocoa and bone broth and jerky and obviously, well, coffee, because I can't live without that. But for dinner tonight, I think I'm gonna go with this chicken and dumplings. Oh yeah, chicken and dumplings. Just like Grandma used to make it. Oh my gosh, I had a hot soak, cocoa and scotch, and chicken and dumplings. I am so warm and cozy, and to be honest, I just kind of want to go pass out. But I'm not forgetting how cold it was last night. So before I go to bed, I'm gonna get in the hottest part of the hot spring and stay in there as long as I can until my core temperature gets as hot as I can possibly stand it. And then I'll go to bed. Good morning. Man, let me tell you something. It was friggin' cold again last night. But camping next to a piping hot creek makes all the difference. Look at all that steam wafting off the water. It's just a beautiful winter's landscape. You know, camping in the wintertime is thoroughly unpleasant, but I guess moments like this make up for it. I feel so much better now. I got this coffee, I'm awake, I'm warm, I'm ready to face the adventures of the day, despite my multitude of blisters. Oh my god. I won't gross everybody out by showing them, but I got a big one on my right foot, and I got 3 little ones on my left. Fortunately, we don't have a super ambitious itinerary for today. We're just gonna hang out here, leisurely morning, hike upstream to check out the source of this thing, which is supposed to be absolutely amazing. And then, well, unfortunately around noon, 1 o'clock, we decided, because of the weather, we're still not sure what it's gonna do. Yeah. We're gonna start hiking back, and the nice thing about the way my friend Widget arranged this trip is, you know, we went the farthest we'll go yesterday, 15.5 miles. So now that other hot spring, Willett, is on our way back. I think it's like 4 or 5 miles back downstream. So we'll hike to that and stay there tonight, and then, well, see what the weather does. Whew. Okay, change of plans, because we're not sure what the weather is gonna do today, and it's pretty friggin' cold. We thought we probably shouldn't lollygag around here too long, so we got out of the hot spring, and we're gonna basically just pack up, hike to check out the source, and then make our way to the next hot spring and try to beat this weather. I didn't eat a ton yesterday, but I sure am hungry today, so I just made myself a little bit of breakfast. My favorite Mountain House breakfast hash. And I'm gonna sit here in this little chair. Check this chair out. Widget gave me this, well, it's sort of like a holder that you put your air mattress, your sleeping pad in. And it makes it a chair out of your sleeping pad, and it doesn't weigh anything. It's just like this little loose kind of like framework. Let's see how it works. Oh yeah, works just fine. It's nice to have something to lean back on, and wow, what a view. Dun, dun, dun. Oh my god, look how beautiful it is. Anyway, I'm gonna enjoy my breakfast. Oh man, I look just like that chick on the front of this bag. Ha ha ha. This is so good, this breakfast hash. Look. Potatoes, corn, black beans, shredded beef. Mmm. I need all these calories to get me through the day ahead. And wash it down with some more coffee. Okay, we got everything packed up. Our packs are ready and loaded. One more thing to do before we head on out of here, and that is go investigate the source of this awesome hot springs canyon. Oh man, it's a bighorn sheep just by where that steam is. Oh wow, yeah, there's even more. It's like a whole little herd or flock, I don't know what you call a group of bighorns. Wow, it's so cool to see them just hanging out by this hot seep. Okay, so we just hiked all the way up the canyon, past those little bighorns, which are still over there just browsing, all the way to, I just realized this was a road. You used to be able to drive all the way to this point. You know, like the entire last 2 days, hiking and schlepping this 25-pound pack, whatever it was, 24 pounds, you used to be able to just drive right up here. Isn't that amazing? I don't know, it hasn't been a road for probably 30 years. I don't know when they shut it down and made it wilderness, but I don't know. I guess it's a good thing, because now only the very most dedicated can get here. Okay, coming up on the source. Oh wow, look at this. Now this is supposed to be one of the hottest sources, if not the hottest source of any hot spring in the state. If not the entire country, I can't remember. I think it's like 190 degrees. Wow, and it smells very sulfury, and you can see how much steam's coming off here, so I believe it. Holy cow, this is incredible. What a beautiful day to be doing this. You know, like the cold, overcast weather kind of adds to it and makes it even more special. Oh wow, man, I'm sort of crossing over the water here and steam is billowing all around me and it feels so nice and warm. And speaking of the steam here, Widget told me something super amazing about this source here, because it is the hottest source, or one of the hottest sources known. Apparently, years ago, somebody hiked up here with a bunch of 2x4s and tarps and built a sauna right here at the source of these hot springs. Isn't that amazing? I mean, if I walked around the corner and there was a sauna here, I'm not gonna lie, I would lose my lid. Wow, he's saying the sauna was built right there, just sort of collecting all the steam from this hot creek. Amazing, oh my goodness, look how beautiful this is. Oh wow, what an epic way to wrap up my all too brief stay at Sespe Hot Springs. Taking this little walk and seeing those bighorns, amazing. I don't want to leave, but I want to make it to Willett Hot Springs, hopefully before it starts raining. So I'm going to wrap up this video now, and if you want to see what happens next, why, you're just going to have to tune in next week and watch part 2 of this backcountry hot spring expedition. Haha.